son would push his mind
What's wrong with you?
beyond its limits.
Stop it! John, open the door! Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
It didn't happen. This is not normal.
I'm not Lisa!
You can't reason your way out of it.
Why not? Why can't I? I need to believe that something extraordinary is possible.
Universal Pictures, DreamWorks Pictures, and Imagine Entertainment present one man's journey to the greatest discovery of all.
I know it's real. This is real.
Academy Award winner Russell Crowe, Academy Award nominee Ed Harris, and Jennifer Connelly.
Perhaps it is good to have a beautiful mind, but an even greater gift is to discover a beautiful heart.
A Beautiful Mind.
Now tell me, how and why did you even get involved in such a complex story?
Well, I really wanted to do the story because it presented such a unique challenge, and it had this individual with such an interesting life that incorporated these great moments of epiphany, creation, and genius, but also the fine line between madness. And also the story kind of presented this opportunity to take the audience on the ride with John Nash as opposed to like observing him as a case study, which I've done before, like in Apollo 13, as you saw, we took the audience right into the spaceship. But this movie was much more fascinating to sort out because the problem was much more internal.
Yes, it really was. So, now, almost immediately after Beautiful Mind, you and Russell Crowe teamed up again to create Cinderella Man, which received great reviews. However, I personally don't think it was recognized enough. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't do my work for recognition. I just do it to tell good stories that I feel should be told and to entertain audiences. But Cinderella Man, even though it didn't receive many awards, it was one of my favorite movies that I ever did because I love the character of James Braddock, who was just such a hero during the Great Depression and when you think about his story, it was just really incredible. So it was really satisfying for me to make a movie about him.
And I believe we also have a clip from Cinderella Man.
Quite sad to see a fighter that was once the caliber of James Braddock reduced today.
Listen to me. Your legs are getting heavy. You're too slow. It's over.
Just give me another fight, Jim.
What's done is done.
Not always.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
I'm always behind you.
I believe we live in a great country.
I need 9 men, and only 9.
A country that's great enough to help a man when he's in trouble. I had a run bad luck. I owe everybody money. I didn't always lose. I won't always lose again. I can still fight. I have a lot to be grateful for. I have 3 beautiful, healthy, troublemaking kids. You know, I have the prettiest wife a man could wish for. We live in a great country. I guess I'm grateful for the opportunity. I know that these days not everybody gets a second chance.
I wouldn't expect you to be the kind of person to cause any sort of controversy, but really you've been stirring up quite a lot of trouble in the past few years. Tell us about these Da Vinci Code movies, which are quite successful in the long run, but have sparked a lot of unhappiness.
Yes, well, many Catholics are unhappy with me for making the Da Vinci Code stories more famous because of some of the ideas that are in them. But really, it's not we're not making our movies as like a theology. We're not like trying to impose the ideology on anyone. They're just for entertainment. And like the people who are saying, sorry.
And so what would be your advice for those people who are?
Well, I would advise the people who think they'll be upset by the ideas in the movie not to go see the movie at all, but rather just stay home.
Okay, so I know your next movie, Angels and Demons, which is along the same lines as the Da Vinci Code, you had to shoot in Rome. So did you have any trouble with that because of the recent controversy?
Yes, we did. When you go to shoot in Rome, they tell you that the Vatican has no influence over anything. But when we got there, they told us that the Vatican had a certain some influences, and we would not be allowed to shoot in certain places. So what ended up happening was we had to build all these different sets that we wouldn't have had to have built. But the Vatican, of course, denies these accusations, which is really ironic, but it's truly what happened. And now a lot of people are saying that we made up that statement to promote the movie, but it doesn't make sense because we had to spend money on all those sets that we had to build.
Wow. Well, you were obviously messing with some pretty powerful people. So now the final question. Do you believe any of these ideas in your movie?
Well, not necessarily, but I do agree with something Tom Hanks has said, which is that the Catholic religion communicates that sins have been taken away, but not brains, and I've really been taking that into consideration.
Interesting. And now we have a clip from Mr. Howard's new film that debuts Friday.
He exposed one of the greatest cover-ups in human history. But what terrifying discovery would make the Vatican turn to him?
That's Illuminati. The Illuminati were a secret society dedicated to scientific truth. The Catholic Church ordered a brutal massacre to silence them forever. They've come for their revenge. There's a hidden trail through Rome itself. I need access to the Vatican archives.
Access to the archives is owned by written decree by the Holy Father.
Fellas, you called me. This is the first sign.
What sort of sign?
Earth, air, fire, water. And the fifth sign.
May God forgive you for what you've done.
Father, when God has issues, they won't be with what we've done. They will be with what we're about to do.
Our church is at war.
This is the first marker. The path is alive. You're talking about the moment of creation.
Open the doors and tell the world the truth.